you for doing this interview with me. I'm a lawyer practicing in Zurich with his own law firm. I'm an entrepreneur. I have been chairing this chamber for about 20 years. The chamber was led by a helpful general secretary who suffered a brain stroke shortly before Christmas 2023. And a group of people, upon the need to replace this secretary, has taken the occasion to try to take over the chamber. The center of the legal action is the unauthorized use of my signature. It started with putting my signature onto minutes of the annual general meeting of April 2024. The person admitted he didn't have my authority. It's a straightforward case of a falsified document. Charges have been filed, but it will take a while until this procedure will meander through the path of the authorities. This person styles himself as the new CEO of the Chamber of Commerce and president, adding insult to injury. Registration in the commercial register, our scope of answers have been limited to the legal procedures. So all we could do is we can file a complaint with the commercial register, the administrative court, and we can file a criminal complaint against those who have obtained that commercial registration. All of this has been done in the meantime, but until this has made its way through all the courts, the registration stands. Every third party that is confronted with that registration may assume that this registration is true unless they know otherwise. And of course, in the meantime, a lot of the authorities and a lot of the banks involved, they know otherwise. They know I never signed this document. The group cannot absolutely freely act, but they were, for example, able to reobtain the domain. They were able to reobtain all the, let's call it, online credentials, and their online presence has been enormous, and our online presence has been hampered. For example, they have been able to delete our entire LinkedIn presence. They deleted the LinkedIn page, either by convincing LinkedIn to shut it down and delete it, which is unusual. It was a premium account, and LinkedIn usually would revert back to us before they would delete it. So we must even assume that they have tried to hack our LinkedIn page, have intruded as hackers, trying to justify their deeds with the means of this registration. But here, everything is still in the dark. We don't know exactly what happened, and further investigations are needed. That's the biggest tragedy. Members of a pro bono organization like a commercial chamber, to see such a chamber to be of service to them. They don't want to see the chamber squabble over who is in charge and who is doing what. In the end, the membership suffers the most. They don't get services. The organization is distracted from actual events. We wanted to celebrate the 30th birthday of the chamber. Of course, we don't have time to do that because we are bogged down in this dispute. Members want a peaceful organization. Gold, platinum, silver sponsors all distance themselves now from the chamber, and they want to wait until this storm has blown over before they set up shop again with the chamber. So it's a tragedy. It's really a tragedy if you see the whole thing from the viewpoint of the members. I don't want to sound as if I'm Mr. Know-it-all, but any pro bono organization has the problem that you want to rely on those people that offer their services for free on a pro bono basis as well. My learnings out of this incident, of course, is that those who offer their services for free are not always doing that without a hidden agenda. And my advice to anyone who is running a pro bono organization, be careful before you hand over too much of authority or before you delegate too much of authority. Always keep keys. Decided to start a series of online events. In September, we had a fantastic event on market turbulences initiated by the collapse in Japan. We had experts from China, India, international financial markets, and Southeast Asia. In October, we will have an event about artificial intelligence. Again, we will have very remarkable speakers. We will be coming up with the invitation soonest. In November and December, we have a similar event planned to show the membership and public we can function besides fending off this scandal. But of course, the scandal will fester on the side because these criminal proceedings are pending and the administrative proceedings are pending. We expect the courts will side with our view. We have incorporated a new entity, Swisscom Asia. We will function under this entity. As soon as we regain control over the old entity, we will merge the two vehicles and create the one and only again.
We were shocked. And after some time, we issued press release where we stated the course of events that happened with the chamber. We informed our key stakeholders, including embassies. We were surprised that the decision was made redundant some board members without our consent, with false allegations. Despite the press release, this group continued to manipulate public opinion, engaged with media providing false information, conquering our domain website, the main platform through which we were communicating all the messages, and also shut down our web page in LinkedIn. So all these, let's say, illegitimate behaviors brought harm to our chamber. Obviously, with a line of confrontation, we were opposing this unlawful behavior by filing legal and administrative claims. Our rich Swiss companies, international companies in Switzerland, and companies in those countries. We call us Swisscom Asia in the new name of it, but we keep the old logo representation to keep the heritage of our chamber that was existing 30 years and anniversary. To bridge between the old chamber and new chamber, we created the visual appearance that will remind them of the old chamber. Asia means represent Asian countries, be it Middle East, Central Asia, Asia Pacific, where we bring value to our members.
Careful in electing people because one and probably two people were the cause of the issue. The Swisscom Asia is extremely a professional organization who has a unique structure whereby country chairmen have a long track record in the country they represent. People lived and worked in these countries and have access not even an ambassador has. Normally, you go to an ambassador in a country and give me please the access to Minister ABC. Yes, this is possible, but to understand the country better, the chairman of the Swisscom Asia country is then a very big asset. Make an alliance with the Swiss local Chamber of Commerce, like Star Alliance. So we have the Swiss Alliance, whereby Asia and the Singapore and the Hong Kong, the Malay is also member of it. This gives added value that members can not have access locally to their event in a country. We are close to universities which others do not have. As an example, the Northwestern University for Applied Science, with a delegated staff to the university in Switzerland to participate whole or part of the seminars and go with the students to Malaysia, Vietnam, Singapore, and learn the biggest problem Swiss companies have, SMEs. The closest is the Swiss American Chamber with similar initiatives. But we are different from the professionals, track record, chairmen, and relationship with the Chamber of Commerce. Last but not least, with the link to university education. So if one of the employees needs training in cultural aspect, which is more than talks about the country, that's where we are different.
Our chamber is the only one that offers services and events during World Economic Forum in Davos.
Asian Chamber has a long history and tradition to organize meaningful events and networking activities with business, with education, with politicians across continent, to organize online and offline events in different cities. For example, end of this month, we will have a webinar on AI frontier with society, with our future. Next month, we will have another webinar talking about energy. And then the month later, we will also have a webinar talking about the sunset in industry with Asian countries. Then in January, when the World Economic Forum started, we will have our events. We will carry this tradition on and make the chambers more elite for members and the next generation. This will give us a comparative advantage comparing other chambers. We cross continent, we cross sectors, and we have members, we have board members who know Asia and Europe well. For example, in this board, you can see already SAD, like Cloud, they've been in Asia and Switzerland and Europe. Both sides can give more explanation for the future.
Person likes to build a platform for his own, and he will be soon disappearing as he comes. But also, I want to put that in the interview. It is been shown that this person, it's a track record, it's a déjà vu. In many cases, he has done always big noise, big disaster. He believes he can be then in the sunshine. It is unfortunate that some people are following like sheep. It started with one person having the separation.
Sure, law enforcement is in place. We continue our operation as in the past, and we would like to make sure that a proper risk mitigation in our chamber, such as that we have to verify every CV before AGM approves it and make a background check. When we retrospectively made a background check, one of the person of this other group doing the same with other organizations. We need to consider a legal checkup of their documents besides a CV. When we decide for the leadership roles, we also have to discuss it properly, not just trust their word, but also check out whether these people are really having the moral and business conduct, so that we can trust these people and give them leadership roles and legal documents related to the operation of the chamber. One of the instruments we installed in the process of registration of Swiss Cham Asia We will be careful how we create alliances with other chambers across Asia. We will be working from the legal perspective on the contractual engagements, legal instruments, and the leadership issues will be monitored by the Presidential Committee, by the President as well as a decision maker. One of the steps undertaken was filing registration. We will be in the commercial register protecting our name, logo, founders, published and transparent to the public. Obviously, we also need to make sure that our communication and engagement with key stakeholders will be done in the proper manner. When such deviation happens, we immediately have to notify members, staff, allies.